Hello, viewer. Welcome to Full Record Jacket with Phil and Ben. And on this particular edition, I'm on the spot again. Ben's vanished. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there, Philster.
I've no idea. Um, yeah, I'm on the spot. You're doing the questions. Is this about years and albums?
It is. It is. So I've just generated a random number. So I know the year. Now we need to know.
Please let it be from the 20th century, not the 21st.
Right. Yeah. Look at
Otherwise,
this.
I will know nothing, like Manuel on Faulty Towers.
Right. We are going to look at Philster. Do you want to do albums or singles?
Oh, I think I'll have to do albums. I'm not doing singles. I've
Right.
no chance.
Album UK album chart.
I was going to say there's too much
30
rubbish in the singles, but there'll probably be a fair amount of it in the album chart as well. But
week of it's the week of Christmas. 1974.
yes, please. Crikey, that might be. It's before my time, but it's probably better than 2024.
Are you ready to delve in to 1974?
I'm ready.
How old were you in 1974? You were about 43.
I was a babe. I was only little. It was quite a funky year, 1974. There were some quite funky records around at that time.
Well, we'll go from 20. Now, I was 5 years from coming into existence. The second coming was not upon the earth just yet. I was 5 years away. In fact, I wasn't 5 years away because, yes, I was. I was 5 years and 3 months away. We'll go from the top 20. The top 20 in 1974, which Phil will probably know more about this than I do. At 20, Country Life by Roxy Music.
Am I supposed to be? I thought I was supposed to be guessing the albums.
Oh, yeah.
You're just telling me what they are. Is that how
No,
it
well, you can
works?
try and guess them if you think
Well,
you know.
I don't think I'm going to. But what's the quiz part of this?
Well, actually, right, I've given you one, so you got 1 out of 1. You've got to get 4 right.
Okay.
Right. Number 19,
Yeah.
I would say rock.
How did we do this before? I can't remember.
I just give you clues.
I'll have to guess the albums. Yeah.
No, you. Yeah. How did we do it before? Did you
I've
ask
no
me? And I
idea.
gave you yes or no answers.
Oh, I had to guess. I had to ask you questions.
Yeah. Which
Try and guess
could be a
the
bit of a
album.
traumatic experience because I have no idea about some of these albums. I'll give you a clue on this one. They're low down and coloured.
Deep Purple.
It is Deep Purple. Do you know the album? It had been on the
74.
charts for 18. Been on charts for 7 weeks. It peaked at number 6.
It's 1974. I think it's a bit too late for. I think it's a bit too late for Machine Head.
It is not Machine Head.
What's the one with the? What's the one with the Mount Rushmore style thing on the front? What's that called? Something in rock.
It's not got that in it anyway.
The only other Deep Purple album from that period I can think of, and I think it's possibly a year or two too late for this one, but it's the live one, which is Made in Japan.
It isn't laid in Japan. Made in Japan. No. Do you want me to tell you?
You'll have to tell me.
Stormbringer.
Oh,
you remember?
I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, I've heard of it. I wouldn't have thought of it, to be honest. For about 3 hours, I might have guessed it after 3 hours, but yeah, okay.
Well, at 18, and this was a climber.
Do I get a point for knowing the band?
Yeah, okay, you can have a point. You can have a point for knowing the band. So that's 1 point to Phil. But you got to get 5. If you're going to get the band, it's got to be 5. This album actually went up. It was at 26 the week before. It peaked at 18, which is this week, its highest charting position. Been in the charts for 21 weeks. And think of Common Tennis. See the cranium working. I think that's a good clue.
It's a cryptic clue.
It is
Is that a clue to the album title or to the act?
It's kind of, more the act, but the name of the act does appear in the album title as well.
Common Tennis, 1974.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what albums were out in 1974.
You can almost see that vein on the side of his head creaking with thought.
Common Tennis.
Yeah. Now you can separate the word common and tennis from each other because they are linked, because they obviously have something to do with each other, but they don't necessarily go together, if you know what I mean.
I'm trying to think of what another word.
A family.
Okay, I've now got it because because this is to do with Wimbledon Common. So this is the Wombles.
It is the Wombles. Common are we? We are the Wombles. Remember, you're a Womble. I bet you loved that as a kid, didn't you? The Wombles.
I was a little bit too young for it, to be honest.
Oh, were you? What, even at 43 in 1974?
I do remember that I was aware that it had been big. And I think my cousin had the record, I think. But I was a little bit too small at the time.
Yeah. I mean, how old had you been in 74? Were you 5, 3?
No, I was only 2 years old at the end of 74. So,
but even then, you were sort of 5'8", weren't you?
Yeah.
So anyway, next up at number 17, peaked at 16. This was a climber as well. It'd gone up from 22 to 17. He'd been on the charts for 5 weeks, and the clue, Philster, once again, his family. It's not the Bee Gees, but lots of teeth.
The Partridge Family?
No.
1974. I am struggling on this one. I'm trying to think of another act that was a family. That was family. Are you saying the people in the band were related to each other?
They were related to each other.
The Carpenters?
No. They did have a lot of teeth, though, didn't they? Karen Carpenter had a lot of teeth.
I'm just trying to think another act where the people are related. There must be loads, but I'm not registering any at the moment. I don't know. The teeth thing is getting me because I would have said the Jackson 5 or something, but I don't see that being as a teeth being a clue to the.
They
Jackson
are American.
5.
I'll give you that one. They are American.
The Osmonds.
It is the Osmonds. And even the title of this album turns my stomach. Love Me for a Reason. But yeah, that's at 17. I'll quickly pass that. Right, you should
the
get
reason
this one.
be love. Yeah.
You should get this one. This album peaked at number 1. The week before, it's another climber. It was 17. It'd been on the chart for 56 weeks, Philster.
And 19...
Yeah.
Is this a very, very famous rock album?
A very, very famous rock album.
Okay, if we've been on the charts for 56 weeks, so over a year, so that means it's been on the charts since 1973. And I'm thinking,
technically 1972, wouldn't it? Because
well,
56 weeks back from there would have taken you.
what year are we on?
Wait.
I thought we were in December 1974.
We're in December 1974. Go
So
back.
52 weeks would have been December 1973.
Oh yeah, still
Late 73.
Yeah,
but that's okay because I'm thinking that this album, did come out in 1973. If I'm not mistaken.
Look
I'm
at
wrong
him.
about that. But I'm
He's
thinking
in
it's
the
Pink. I'm
zone.
thinking of Pink Floyd.
No, all that build up and you got it wrong.
Okay,
It's
but
not.
it's another big
Yeah,
rock album. Okay,
solo. It gone solo.
It's a solo rock artist.
Well, technically, yeah.
In 1974, and it had been on the charts for about a year. And is this a well-known album?
Oh, massive album. Huge album.
Okay, so it came out in 1973. By 74. Okay, so you're saying technically it's a solo. But is this someone who'd been in a big band before, then had a new band?
Yes.
So it's Wings and Band on the Run.
It is Wings and Band on the Run. Well done, Philster. I'll give you a point for that one. Right, next up. It stayed exactly where it was the week before. It peaked at number 9. It'd been on charts for 15 weeks. Think glam rock and Awful Shoes and Dirty.
Well, I was going to say Slade.
No, it's not Slade.
But then you said Dirty, so I'm thinking, is it the Glitter Band?
No, they weren't Dirty.
Mud.
It is Mud and Mud Rocks. So, still touring today. Only one original member, though. They're actually playing Ben Hall in Rugby, aren't they?
Is that right? I wouldn't have known the album title, but there you go.
Next up, it's a dropper, Phil. It dropped from 12 to 14, peaked at number 9, been on the charts for 5 weeks. Stupid name. Stupid album title because they're both the same. But if you want to do a Jimmy Savile impression, this is the phrase you'll be using.
Now then?
No, think of a stupid band name.
Well, before you mentioned Jimmy Savile, I was going to say Shawaddy Waddy.
It is Shawaddy Waddy.
Okay.
It was Shawaddy Waddy and Shawaddy Waddy. I've obviously listened to some Shawaddy Waddy at some point in my life. It's obviously been on something. But who is going out and buying a Shawaddy Waddy album?
It's not me.
It's not me either. Right. At 13 this week, Philster, it peaked at number 2, 7 weeks on the charts. Last week it was 11. So it's a faller again. But think again, teeth and mustaches. One mustache. Long hair, guitars, and royalty.
Queen?
It is Queen, but do you know the album?
In 1974.
I'm not sure if this is a lot. Was this an actual album? I don't remember this in their catalogue, but...
what year was it? Was it? I'm trying to think now. What year Queen did their first album? Because there was the first album was called Queen. The second one was called Queen 2. It's not Queen or Queen 2. It's another one.
Yeah, it's another one, yeah.
Is it Sheer Heart Attack?
It is Sheer Heart Attack. You're really good at this, Philster, but then again, you were in your 40s at the time. So, Queen, another artist that I sort of enjoy but don't really get.
I don't mind. I don't dislike them, and I like some of the stuff. I do enjoy some of the stuff. I've never really been a super fan of them. I don't know exactly why that is, but you know they've got all the ingredients. They're a talented band.
They are very talented
A
band.
lot of talent in the band there was, and
Yeah.
a variety of songs, and it's good.
Yeah. I don't mind Queen. I know not everybody's cup of tea, but anyway, at 12, we have a climber. 8 places this album climbed. It peaked at number 1. It'd been on the charts for 12 weeks. Another solo artist who was in a big band before this. And as we may have mentioned on a previous show, which if it's been released, you would know the quote that I'm going to come up with. And if it hasn't been released, you'll just have to wait and then go back and watch this bit again, and it will make more sense. But Phil admitted he likes a bit of this. A big one.
Okay, I'm saying it's a Rod Stewart album.
It is Rod Stewart, because we all know that Phil likes a bit of Rod.
I don't know what the album would have been, though. I'm going to go for Every Picture Tells a Story.
No, it's Smiler.
Ugh, okay.
Wouldn't have got that myself. So I'm glad you're doing this, because I wouldn't have a clue with half of these. But next up at 11, it's a faller. It's fallen 3 places, Phil. 3 from 8 to 11. I know that's 2, but it's supposed to be 2 ones. So 11. So it's at 11. Peaked at 6. 4 weeks on the charts. Glam rock. That's all I'm going to say.
Slade.
It's Slade, or as they used to be called, Ambrose Slade. Now, which album is it?
Oof. I'm trying to think of the Slade albums. I'm not. For some reason, I feel tempted to say Slade Alive.
Well, they probably were before they were set on fire, because Slade in Flame.
Ugh.
Close.
Do you know what? I was thinking of saying Slade in Flame, and then I was thinking that film, because that was the soundtrack to the film. And I was thinking that may have been a bit later, but obviously it wasn't.
See, I do enjoy Slade. I actually prefer earlier Slade to later Slade, even though I do like later Slade. But yeah, anyway, go check Slade out, people. We're into the top 10, Phil. Are you ready? It's a compilation. It peaked at 1. It'd been on the charts for 50 weeks.
This was back in the days when they allowed compilations on the album charts, and of course that was stopped at some point in the
because
80s.
Last week it was at number 9. You've already mentioned them today, so I'll give you the clue. Teeth.
Who was it that had the teeth? The Bee Gees.
It's not the Bee Gees.
The Carpenters.
It is the Carpenters. Now, for the point, can you get the album title?
There's a compilation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what the compilation title would have been.
I can tell you one thing. It's not this one.
It's not that one.
Was going to give this away, then found out it's worth about 15 quid. So I've kept it. Yeah.
What is actually on there?
A little bit of dust. Songs. O Come, Emmanuel.
Oh, this is the Christmas album.
Yeah,
okay.
Christmas Waltz,
okay,
Sleigh
right.
Ride. It's Christmas time. Yeah, it's Christmas time.
Right, I'm trying to think what would be a Carpenter's
compilation.
There've been so many of them since. But what was the first compilation called? Greatest Hits. Ooh. Oh no, was it Singles 1969 to 1974? I'm going to go for Singles 69 to 74.
That's a good guess, but it's 69 to 73. So therefore, no points given. Right, next up at number 9, a bit of a crooner, peaked at 1, 79 weeks on the charts. last week. It was at number 7. I don't know too much about this artist. I can't give. Memories Are Made of These. I think he did that.
Dean Martin.
No.
Andy Williams.
I'll give you a clue. Yes, Mrs. Patterson.
Oh, I don't know that reference. I know that I should know that reference. I can't think what it is.
Eyeball Paul.
That's from some 90s comedy thing, though, isn't it? Oh, that's from a film, isn't it?
It is from a film, yeah.
I can't think which film that is from. Is that the Harry Enfield thing?
It is the Harry Enfield thing.
The thing with Kathy Burke in it as well.
It is the thing with Kathy Burke.
I've seen it, but I can't think what the hell it's called.
Are you giving up on this one, Philster?
But this is a singer. I'm trying to get.
It's a singer, yeah, solo artist, a bit of a crooner.
But that was Kevin, the teenager, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, one of them was called Kevin.
I can't think what the other one was called.
Well, that's the name you're stuck on, then.
Is that the Kathy Burke character?
That's the Kathy Burke character.
What was it called? Oh, hang on, Perry Como.
It is Perry Como.
Kevin and
what
Perry.
A clue! What a clue!
It was Kevin and Perry.
Do you know the album title though?
I've no idea what it would have been. Perry Como's Greatest Hits.
No, and I Love You So.
Ugh.
But you know what? I'm going to give you half a point, even though I kind of gave you some good clues for getting the Perry bit. I thought that was a good clue.
I should have guessed because he did do the Don McLean and I Love You So in the 70s, so that was obviously his new album at the time.
Right, we're into the top 8, Philster. At this album, obviously in 1974, being on the charts 77 weeks. I think it went on to be in the charts for ages. I remember when I started my engineering apprenticeship. Do you remember Leslie who worked there?
Yeah.
She was big into this album. A lot of people around this time were big into this album. I own this album. The guy who did the album has lived off the back of this album for a long time, releasing different versions.
Okay, so it's Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield.
It is Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield. I don't quite get it.
As soon as you said the guy who made this album has lived off the back of it for years, I thought there's got to be Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. The rest of it was irrelevant.
Yeah. I own this album, and it's background music at best. I kind of get it.
I don't really like it that much.
But I don't get it. And yeah, he's done all different versions of it. But anyway.
The best bit is the bit that was from The Exorcist, that was used in The Exorcist later.
Yeah.
That was, to me, is the best bit of it.
Yes. So anyway, up to number 7. This is a climber. Peaked at 2. 92 weeks in the charts, Phil. Last week was at 10. This week it's at 7. Massive band from this time.
If it was 92 weeks in the chart, then maybe it could be. I'm going to have to go with Pink Floyd.
And
Dark Side of the Moon. Because Wish You Were Here hadn't been released at that point, I don't think. So it must have been The Dark Side of the Moon. You,
my friend, have got the point. It is Dark Side of the Moon. So, right, next up at 6. Last week was at 4, so it's dropped 2 places. It peaked at 4. This is its 3rd week on the chart. Think keyboards, think positive, think prog.
Rick Wakeman.
He may have been involved.
Thinking prog. I don't know. Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
No. You were almost there with Rick Wakeman. What band was he in?
Oh, my mind's gone blank on this.
So times like this, I turn to Roger Moore, and I think we could have been doing this show together, Roger Moore. You would have got this, and you would have said, yes, I would. And I would have gone, you know what? That is the best answer you could have given me. So yes, from next week we will be doing the show together. It's a big yes from me. It's a big yes from you.
Well,
I think he was in this band. I'm pretty sure he was.
is it yes? Is it yes?
I mean, I've just said the word yes 6 times, so I'm hoping you.
It's got to be yes.
It is yes. It's a yes from me. It's a yes from Simon. It's a yes from Sharon Osborne. It's a yes from Danny Minogue.
Have
And
you
it's a yes
listened?
from all the other untalented people.
Have you listened to much of Yes?
A bit, little bits. So, what was the big sort of 80s song that they did? Was it?
Well, they did
Odor
do.
of a Lonely Heart.
They did. That's the 80s one, but that's the Trevor Horn produced 80s one. But that's very much the. It's not really like the early stuff, so it's kind of a bit of a misnomer, really. It doesn't really give you an idea.
I do have a couple of Yes albums, but I've never.
Have you got Tales from Topographic Oceans?
Art. 1 second.
We got Close to the Edge.
One I can tell you because
I think those are the two best known. I would have thought. Close to the Edge and Tales from Topographic Oceans. There's
in
quite
my
a few
collection,
albums.
yes, I have 90125 and Tales from the Topographic Oceans. So I have
90125 is the 80s one. That's got
that one.
That's the one.
I've got that one.
Yeah.
And I have.
It's good, but it's different to the other stuff.
And I have
that's the one to listen to more of the early stuff.
I'm pretty sure I've got some Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I have Love Beach by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and The Best of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But I'm sure I've got some more.
Perhaps you should stick it on and have a prog night.
Prog night. I could prog one off. Anyway, at 5, a non-mover, peaked at 4, been on the chart for 10 weeks. He was a big man of love.
Barry White.
It is Barry White. What was the album though, Philster?
Oh, I've no idea what that would be. I just think of a song that could have been the title track of a Barry White album. Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Baby.
It is Can't Get Enough. I'll give you that one. Right. We're now getting to top 4. And all I would say about the top 4, from my own personal viewing, which I've just seen, it's possibly one of the worst top 4s I've ever seen in my life. So at 4, think Stupid Trousers and were they Scottish?
Bay City Rollers?
It is the Bay City Rollers.
Don't know the album.
No, I don't either. It's called Rolling.
Wouldn't have got it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's sort of. I'd love it if I got that album and they had a song called Rolling, and it turns out that the Limp Bizkit version was just a cover version of the Bay City Rollers. That would be brilliant. I don't own any Bay City Rollers. The Bay City Rollers like keep rolling, keep rolling with their big flare.
It was a bizarre thing that they were this sort of boy band at the time.
Yeah, and I bet when you look back, they all look about 50.
And they had scarves, and so it was a bizarre one.
Right, next up, I'm sure he's from Leicester. Stupid name.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
It is Engelbert Humperdinck. But what's the album, Phil?
I really don't know. The only Engelbert Humperdinck original album that I know the title of, but it's from the 60s, so I don't think it will be this one, is A Man Without Love, but I don't think it's that one. So what would he have been doing in 74? What song could have been done by him in 74?
You mean done or ruined?
Well, I'm trying to think it was like a middle of the road. We just had Perry Como, didn't we? And I Love You So.
Perry Como over.
That kind of thing. What was another song around that time that was big, middle of the roady type song? Can't think of any. No, I can't even hazard a guess.
Were you thinking Engelbert
Humperdinck?
Humperdinck's Greatest Hits? Is that what you were thinking?
Is it that what it is?
That's what it is, yeah.
Okay.
I
Right.
can imagine that's just not going to get listened to. If somebody bought me that for Christmas in 1974, I'd be like, do you know what? I'm going to hand it you back, and you can come back in, I don't know, 20 years when there's some decent stuff around.
I actually don't mind him as a bit of cheese.
Yeah.
He's not a bad singer.
I,
He's
I
okay.
probably haven't listened to him enough to.
Yeah, he's okay. He's for that sort of romantic, middle of the road, granny music, whatever you want to
I
call it.
suppose in 74
He's
you were at
good
the
at it.
height of your romance, weren't you?
So-
Mid-40s, single man, bit of Engelberg and Barry White on the old discotheque floors. There's Philster swooning in, his long leather jacket on, his collar's out to here. I bet you had a massive hairdo as well. Like you were coming in a bit of Engelberg. Hi, ladies. My name's Phil.
It's
And I'm ready to
Engelbert.
rock your world. Yeah. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Even though I'm going a bit Barry White.
Are
there.
we on to number 2 yet?
We're on to number 2. That album cover. One second, Phil, because I need to have a look at this album cover. That can't be right, surely. Anyway, think of a solo artist. Common first name, and where Billericay is.
Essex.
Yes.
David
Essex. But now I could just be being completely stupid here, but I don't know if you can see the little picture there, but that's quite clearly War of the Worlds.
Yeah, he's on the War of the Worlds album, but I don't think it's that one, is it?
No.
David
Essex.
That was Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
It was Jeff Wayne. I've got a copy of that. I do.
So what's the David Essex?
It's called David Essex.
Okay.
So not only was he quite forgettable, but he had rubbish album titles as well. David Essex Stone, was he a thing ever?
He was big. He was big in the 70s.
Was he? Got on a diet, son. That's what I'd do. But
he was probably the Robbie Williams of the 70s.
Was he?
He was probably the biggest. There's this. If there's a position of biggest British male pop star biggest male pop star in Britain, which is currently held by, I don't know, who is it? Harry Styles, I suppose. Is it still him?
Yeah, probably Harry Styles.
And before Harry Styles, it probably was Robbie Williams, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I think there's been another one before that, and then before Robbie Williams, it was George Michael. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And before George Michael, and we're going back to like 70s, 80s, it was probably, I don't know if there was one between, but it possibly was David Essex. I can't think, was there another British male solo star?
Didn't he have curly hair?
Yeah, in the late 70s or into the 80s. Was there another British pop singer solo star who was the biggest one in the country? I think at one point perhaps it was Tom Jones before that, but David Essex, I think at one point held the title.
Really? I just remember David Essex from being on things like Saturday Superstore and Going Live.
Yeah.
But even then, he seemed sort of a little bit.
Well, it's a little bit past his initial.
Yeah. But I remember being on stuff like that, and I'm sure he appeared on things like Noel's House Party, that kind of.
He would have appeared in those things. I think he also appeared in some TV dramas as well, some sort of middle of the road TV dramas.
So, what was his big David Essex pop hit?
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't got as many songs that are really thought of, apart from that Winter's Tale that gets played at Christmas. I'm trying to think of his biggest hit single.
You trying to think of it, or are you trying to?
I'm now looking. Oh, it was Rock On. Do you remember Rock On?
No.
Gonna Make You a Star. That was number 1 in 74. Remember Gonna Make You a Star?
No.
Stardust. He also had.
No.
Which is not the old standard. That's the other one. Hold Me Close. Do you remember Hold Me Close? That was number one in 75. Hold Me Close and Don't Let Me Go. Remember that one?
No, because I was still not yet
You've
born.
not heard it. But you've not heard it played.
Sing it to me. Sing it to me. Give me a bit of Essex. Put yourself in Essex's shoes.
The chorus is Hold Me Close and Don't Let Me Go. I'm not going to sing the tune, but it's Hold Me Close and Don't Let Me Go. That's the lyric. Stay
Sounds
With Me,
awful.
Baby. That was not as big. Oh, What a Circus. Remember? Have you ever heard Oh, What a Circus? That's an Andrew Lloyd Webber one that he had a hit with.
No, maybe when I'm out on my walk later, I will listen to a bit of David Essex.
You need to go to stream the biggest hits of David Essex. They're okay. They're okay for what they are. Cheesy 70s pop that was played.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put him down as being pop. I always thought David Essex was like a bit sort of, Christopher sort of that.
He was a bit that way, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose he was maybe. His audience was maybe a little bit older than the teen girls.
Yeah,
he wasn't the teen.
I mean, I bet he was a looker when he was.
But I think a lot of women liked him at the time. He was fancied by a lot of women, which is part of his.
Lock up your daughters. Essex is in town.
Yeah, I say he was a big name at the time, which is why he was on that Jeff Wayne. Because that was the late 70s, wasn't it? The Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds. So that he would already established big star at that point.
Oh, he did an album, Rock On. He's 77. Is David Essex?
Yeah. You don't tend to hear. I mean, I don't listen to a huge amount of radio too, but the bits of it I hear, can't remember hearing that many of David Essex's hits played. You'd think that maybe they would be played more often, but
yeah. I mean, I'm just having a look at. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's the David Essex I remember.
Yeah,
that's got to be 90s sort of time. Maybe I'm doing him a disservice. Maybe I'm sort of mocking him without sort of. Yeah, he was a handsome man though. Maybe yeah. I mean, let's face it. He's had a better music career than I've had. So.
Rock On was his biggest international success. He had 19 singles on the UK top 40. And so there's 2 number ones. So there you go.
Well, do you know what, Philster? When I woke up this morning, I did not think that I would be spending at least 3 minutes of my day
talking about David
Essex. Yeah.
Is that the number 2 album of this?
That is the number 2. So the big one, the album that led us out of 74 into 75, a new dawn of technology. It was a compilation album. It has spent 7 weeks on the chart. It peaked at number 1. The week before it was at number 1. It had only been at number 1 for 7 weeks. Do you want a clue or do you want to have a guess?
It's a compilation. Is it a compilation by a single act?
A single act, a single gentleman.
A male artist's compilation.
Male artist.
Number 1 in 1974.
74. 75 is just on the horizon. It's just over there. It's creeping in. Like the tide.
I'm just thinking whether this artist. I've just thought of an artist who was big at that. Is it an artist who was very big in 1974?
Oh yeah.
Would it be fair to? Is this an English artist?
Oh yeah.
Would it be fair to say that this artist is an international superstar?
Oh yeah.
Is he one of the biggest artists of all time?
Yeah.
Is he known for wearing glasses?
Oh, yeah.
It's Elton John.
John Lennon. No, it's Elton John. It's Elton John. It's Elton John's greatest hits. It's Elton John's greatest hits. It's up there. It's number 1. The Johnster, Reginald White. Was it Reginald White?
Quite early in a way to have a greatest hits, wasn't it? Because he'd been around for.
No, he'd had so many by then, hadn't he? He was like, it was Christmas time as well, wasn't it? So you're banging out Christmas presents. Because let's face it, in 1974, for Christmas, you're either getting a Ford
a
Cortina,
lump of coal, or
yeah, measles, or Elton John's greatest hits. So that was it. That was 1974. That was 1974, Philster. What do you feel about the end of 1974? I must admit, the Elton John's
that's
greatest
not a
hits.
bad. You said it was the worst top 4, but Elton John's greatest hits is okay. I mean, that's
Yeah, no, I think it was more the fact it was a greatest hits album or not a standalone album. But the 4-2, the David Essex, Engelberg, and Basic Rollers is pretty.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, the fact that
Elton
Tubular
saved
Bells,
the day at the end.
Elton did save the day, because a lot of people look back and think, oh, the 70s was a bit grim. Looking at those, you can see why, can't you? And then at the end of the 70s, a shining light was brought into the world. A shining light that would change the direction of mankind, that would forge a new path for humanity to venture down.
Yeah. There you go, viewer. That was December 1974.
I could have gone on for a lot longer there.
Those were the albums. Well, yeah.
I quite enjoy doing this, going down a little bit of a.
It's a fun quiz. How many did I score?
You got about 6, 7 in the end.
I passed then.
You passed, yeah.
Good to know. Thanks for watching. Catch us again.